Cape Town. I haven't got family in Cape Town. And then they say he must go life sentence. I don't know. He murdered his wife or what. I don't know what was it. And then we got shocked. Me, I get a stroke.
MPs are not entirely convinced about Treasury's withdrawal of the Gazette, exempting Eskom from disclosing irregular, wasteful and fruitless expenditure. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana told Parliament today that the intention to exempt the SOE from making certain disclosures was to allow the company to have better financial statements as it tries to raise capital. Babalo Ndenze reports.
While MPs have welcomed the withdrawal of the Eskom exemption from declaring certain irregularities, they slammed the Minister and Treasury for even considering the move. IFP MP Mkhuleko Hlengo remains skeptical that Treasury won't change its mind.
So I think that clarity is important, Minister, categorically. And if it's being withdrawn, when is it being withdrawn? And I ask again, is the intention to bring it back there? That's point number one.
ANC MP Beki Hadebe.
It was our considered view that the request and the subsequent decision for exemption was irrational and unjustifiable given the current state of Eskom.
Minister Enoch Godongwana assured members that the exemption has been withdrawn and a new gazette would be published confirming the decision. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
And government says it has withdrawn the national state of disaster on electricity following consultations with the electricity minister. Cooperative Governance Minister Thembi Nkadimeng has been leading a briefing this afternoon to give further details. She says Kgosientsho Ramokgopa's visits to Eskom's power plants have shown that interventions are already in place to address the energy crisis. On the weather front, a partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Joburg dropping to an overnight low of 12 degrees, peaking at 23. Pretoria 13 and 26, Vereeniging 10 and 25. Lerato Huffela, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High-dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
The assault in this instance would be the spitting incident.
It was a prank. It's a prank that unfortunately has gone wrong, and it involves me using the last bit of water in a water bottle that I've been drinking from. Somebody made me laugh, and of course I sprayed this water out of my mouth onto the head and or face of a young player by the name of Katlego Motlante, if I'm not mistaken.
Mr. Zongu, just on Thembela Skakane, would you be asking him to maybe apologize to the fans? I know that there was an attribution saying that he had called them hooligans.
It's completely new to me. When do we call them hooligans?
Changing and re-engineering sports on the continent and the world.
When President Motsepe arrived at CAF, the first word he used was invest. In African football, invest, because you know that when we arrived at CAF, everyone knows the problems that African football has faced. The issues of youth and the youth development.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW. Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
Coming through live at 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and in Sowetan Live. Good evening, welcome to Marawa Sports Worldwide, wherever you are around the country. Wednesday today, we'll update you with what live football action that is going on. Well, one of the games on the local front of those with us today on the WhatsApp voice note number. We'll tell you about this day in history, what happened on the significant indeed. Local captain that we know who's celebrated massive K. But I guess the frustrating story is the one we tackled just the other day. 4 weeks in detention in a foreign country to two Marawa Gallants officials, well over 2 weeks and counting. Now, to say that the club's been extremely when we've been tracking this, and I think from a personal level, I'm actually surprised that there's been no when I say higher level, I'm sure this story does sit in certain ministries. With Libya, you get the full. But let's find out though. Let's see. Manager to find out how their meeting with Marawa Gallants out to their chairman gazillion times, but they won't speak to us. But that always means that we always revel at the fact that when people don't want to say anything, especially if you run a football club, you communicate. You have fans that want to know. It doesn't stop us from talking about you. But then don't complain afterwards. And then ask. But you must always lead. And I just find it that you look at the likes of Chelsea. There was an incident yesterday that were chanting, and within final whistle blew, and there was an immediate statement that Chelsea had put out on their various websites, and so, and they will take action. That is the kind of leadership that I'm talking about, not people that are going to go hide. Mzwandile Mafovana joins us from Bloemfontein. Welcome to Marawa Sports Worldwide.
It's Sports Worldwide.
I know that there is a game to. You're not a fan of either one of those two teams, but it was important that you use. Is equally worried about the state of play right now with the two personnel that are still captive because they don't have the freedom to leave the hotel we're able to speak to.
Yes, no, Rob, I need to but you're not using that as a platform to discuss. We have been engaging since actually when they started participating in the CAF about their traveling in and out of the country and including their opponents. When they get into the country, then yes, we have been engaging even when they started because it's the people that are just staying there in order to be able to make a payment. That some of the hotels, it's either they would not want to accept cash, in fact, to accept convenience that Marawa experienced on their way to their flight bookings. Then it was necessary for the two to remain behind in order to settle the outstanding accounts, only to find out to their surprise so much exorbitant that they could not afford. Then they had to start amount that he stated that they need to pay. Then as a result, then he had to have those people to hold them at the hotel so that they can engage with the chairman of Marawa Gallants. Then he also and corporations, because as soon as we became aware that the hotel owner is not willing to allow these two guys to come to South Africa, then we engaged the Department of International Relations and Cooperation for them to interact, because they have different embassies that can be able to interact with the hotel owner and also to get assistance from Libya. So I can assure you that tomorrow, as we have arranged, we'll be having a Zoom meeting with the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, as well as the owners of the hotel, because they said they'd want to understand actually what is the challenge and the situation that we're encountering with the club.
So your understanding, and I know that you held back from saying what it is, that the two individuals are not allowed to leave. So the owner of that hotel didn't also want to use the word being held captive or hostage or any of those words, but it does come across as that. I mean, it's a form of hostage taking if you had to speak about it honestly.
No, it is, because if I don't allow you to make any movement to go to your own house, and I want you to remain in my house, that means I'm holding you captive. I agree with you.
But has Marawa Gallants, besides them telling you their side, were you able to chat to the owner of the Libyan hotel? Because we put a direct call to him last week, and he broke down exactly what it was that they were owing him, and the fact that there is no accountability. The chairman is not being available, is not answering his calls, and that really drags the situation. And yet he is saying that he looks after the two gentlemen that are there. They are eating, they are using, the hotel's facilities and the Wi-Fi and everything else, but it's the unavailability of the leadership of the club to him that is a problem, because they have unresolved issues and they have a monetary situation to settle.
Actually, Rob, I've not engaged with the owner of the hotel, but as we have engaged with Marawa Gallants, we requested them to provide documents to prove what they are saying in relation to the letter that they sent to SAFA, because they sent a letter to SAFA, which we forwarded to the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, based on the challenge that they're experiencing, of which on our side, understanding the challenge that they had going to Libya for this particular match, because it's not the first time that they had to go and play in Libya. During the preliminary stage, they had a team that they were supposed to play in Libya. Then they went. Hence, even the hotel that they are using now is not the first time that they are using the hotel. They used the hotel in their previous match. So, therefore, it was our understanding that we should get the facts, which we believe from our side, based on the document that they have provided to us, which is a proof that they have paid the hotel for the hotel expenses that they expected when the team went to Libya. Then that has been settled. Then the challenge was the traveling from Istanbul to Benghazi, which was the challenge where they asked the assistance of the hotel owner, who is now holding them at ransom based on the assistance that he has provided to them.
In your understanding, what do they owe them now?
In my understanding is that they tried to meet the guy, because the guy is not able to state how he came up with a figure that is coming up, which is $35,000. I understand now the money keeps on increasing, because lately he was talking about $36,000 to $37,000 that they are owing. From their side, the hotel expenses initially was $6,000, of which they have settled. Then when they got the invoice from the owner of the hotel of the $35,000 that he said they were owing, they had to engage the airline that took them from Istanbul to Benghazi in order to find out exactly how much was paid, which was $6,000. But they tried to say, we understand that as an owner, you had to go an extra mile and ensure that there's a value that you add in order for us to be able to go to Benghazi. So we are prepared to make an extra payment. But how you got to 35,000 then is not in their understanding, of which they needed clarity. But the hotel owner still insists that, no, you owe me 35,000 without breaking down on how he reached 35,000 that he's talking about.
Yeah, when he spoke to us, just to assist, because like I say, I don't know how much transparency the club has been offering you as an individual, and obviously someone who's trying to negotiate on their behalf and involving government as well. When we spoke to him, that amount had come up to $37,000. The breakdown of that, from our understanding again, from the conversation on that day, was that the makeshift Adidas kit, and you would be aware, Mr. Mafovana, that they didn't play with the original kit. They had to go buy a kit of some sort where they were able to attach a badge to it, and they called it the Marumo Gallants kit, so that they could go out there and play the game. So part of that was about purchasing that kit that they use for the game, and also what he says have been arrangements that have been made on behalf of the club ever since they arrived, and him utilizing even his own transport to go and pick them up. So there's a long story of how he got to the $37,000, which at the time is, almost knocking on 700,000 rand.
Rob, I understand. I would agree with you that that's the amount that he's saying, but it would have been better if he had, as he has done with you, also written all that down for Marumo Gallants to understand. And again, if he talks about the local travel between the hotels and the airport, is the amount that we can shift to the club, because we know it is the responsibility of the host club to take care of those costs. In that case, if it really is true that he also had to incur such costs based on the arrangement that Marumo had, where actually in terms of the local transport, then it could have been easy for us and Marumo to engage with the club Al-Akhda to say, Al-Akhda, in addition to the cost that Marumo has to pay, there are these costs that relate to you. Then can you assist Marumo in ensuring that you pay those costs?
But when things happen on the go and it's urgent, you look desperately for people to come and assist. So maybe my question to you is, in your knowledge, did they utilize a private plane?
The private plane was utilized from Istanbul to Benghazi, of which it also raises some questions of how much did it cost for them to fly for 1.5 hours. If they can come with that breakdown to say, flying from Istanbul to Benghazi, this is how much you need to cost, the cost involved. For the kit that was purchased, this is the total cost. And again, for branding or anything that you have to do in order to make the kit at least to be able, for Marumo to be able to use it as they needed it. Still, that we don't have any questions. But if he can be honest enough to be able to state those on a correspondence or on a letterhead, where we'll be able to say, Marumo, this is what we owe you, then you'll be able to look at that. But the fact is that he does not want to say or to break all those costs down. He just comes up with a round figure to say, this is what you owe to me.
And you're saying that based on what Marumo have told you?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm even happy, Mr. Mafovana, because I can imagine what those families are feeling like. We, as MSW, are willing to provide for you the entire conversation that we had with Ali Ezaga on the show. Yes. Because he even stated, he said he did not do anything or buy anything without the approval of Gallants. He says that they knew about the costs, according to him. And he also said that the price will increase. He said this here on the show. He says that the price will increase and he's been charging the team $100 per day for the two guys who are still in Libya. So all of that, so to avoid the he said, she said, we are willing to provide that audio for you. I'm going to ask you for your indulgence. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to take a quick ad break and we come back because I would love us to wrap it up in a nicer way than to just abruptly end it in this manner here, because the he said, she said for me, unfortunately doesn't work.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW.
We're coming to you live as Sabo's finished serving a final order of peri peri. Time to focus on his bet on today's game.
Utata! He's got his phone in hand.
He's got a chance to cash out, one of Betway's many thrilling offers, but Sabo will be the first one to tell you, never undercook a Roadrunner.
Look at this man. He's in complete control.
Oh, he's done it. He's cashed out.
It's a shoe.
Take it out the oven because Sabo's bet is well done. All thanks to Betway.
T's and C's apply. Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
Beach, please. TravelStart and MasterCard are giving you up to 30% off your trip every time you book on TravelStart. Change your latitude up to 30% off with TravelStart and MasterCard.
Woolworths W Rewards members spend R350 or more on kids' fashion and unlock a chance to play and win guaranteed prizes. Apple MacBooks, watches, dual air fryers, and up to R50,000 in cash and more. Now's the best time to shop kids' fleece bottoms and tops from only R179. Woolworths, the difference. T's and C's apply.
Get tested this April at Specsavers and we'll give you a free optical frame up to the value of R1,000. That's right, get a free frame up to the value of R1,000 when you purchase a comprehensive eye examination at Specsavers. Book online at specsavers.co.za or visit your nearest store nationwide. Remember, it's important to get your eyes tested every 24 months. Specsavers, for affordable eye care and a whole lot more. T's and C's apply.
The love story is far from over. The rivalry nowhere near the end. And the drama we are all here for is still brewing. Catch all the action, betrayal, and everything in between in the final season of the smash hit series, The Wife. Keep watching, only on Showmax. Sign up at showmax.com.
The time has come to buy a car. You're shopping, browsing near and far. You're looking for a new ride, but the right one hasn't come. You saw some on the internet, but found We Buy Cars instead. Cars, buckies, bikes, and more. We Buy Cars has got them all. We have what you desire. Just come to us, we are the ones to trust. We have what you desire. Come to We Buy Cars, we're the best by far. WeBuyCars.co.za, the best way to buy a car by far.
Are you ready?
This
is
947.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
There's been a massive allegation at TTM recently, a coach spitting on a player. Coach Johnny Ferreira joins me tonight to take us through.
We had a hearing last week on Tuesday. The verdict came out guilty of assault, and there was instant dismissal without compensation.
The assault in this instance would be the spitting incident.
It was a prank. It's a prank that unfortunately has gone wrong, and it involves me using the last bit of water in a water bottle that I've been drinking from. Somebody made me laugh, and of course I sprayed this water out of my mouth onto the head and or face of a young player by the name of Katlego Motlante, if I'm not mistaken.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Robbie, you know what? I've been following Johnny Ferreira for quite some time. He has been up there in the north for a very long time. I don't think what TTM is saying it's true, man. TTM itself, it's a joke, you know? It's a joke. I just wish the team can be relegated, go to Vodacom and just get died. It's a joke itself. I don't think what those guys are saying is true. Never. But big up to Johnny. Whether it's true or not, he came out, he apologized, and life must go on. Let's leave the old man alone.
Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
All right, we're in conversation All the way in Bloemfontein, we do have Mzwandile Mafovane joining us right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide, live at 947 for FM, Rise FM. And on Sowetan Live, he's the SAFA manager for football as well as events. And as we're heading into the break, just talking about the breakdown, Mr. Mafovane, thank you so much for your patience. And just heading back, I mean, besides the conversation that he had with us on the show, as I said, I'm willing to hand over that audio to you so you can familiarize yourself with the contents as well. He also had an interview with Far Post, the publication Far Post, and maybe what is important for our conversation right now is what he said as well on Far Post, and I'm quoting from it. He said, at first the club said that they were not allowed to send a lot of money, and after that they said that they had a holiday, which is the 20th of March, but after the holiday, they did say that it takes 7 days to send the money. I gave them my Turkish, my Dubai, as well as my Ukraine accounts to ensure that they can send the money. You know, I even said to him that in today's world where you can send money on Christmas Day, which is known as a holiday, nobody stops you. You're not physically going into a bank. You can transfer that. You can wire that. You can do anything. And he agreed to say that if he had given them all of these bank accounts for them to make those deposits, he was just giving them options, but still no money was forthcoming. Does that say anything to you in terms of just the honesty swaying from both sides?
But Rob, what we need to focus on now is the amount that this person is charging. Really, do you believe that a 1.5 hour flight, even if it can be here in South Africa, you're flying from OR Tambo to Polokwane, which can at least be the same time that we're talking about. Can it cost that $35,000 in that case? Because it's what we need to agree on. Is it somebody who's trying to take advantage of the team that was in a disparate situation to find a solution to be assisted? Secondly, we need to look at the fact that this is not the first time that Marumo is using the hotel. If Marumo was able to pay previously, what is it that you think would make Marumo to have a problem? If this was basically about the cost that was supposed to be paid to the hotel. This is the individual who's just taking advantage because he's talking about Marumo being aware of the cost that they're supposed to pay. But we know, according to my company, which is SAFA, before I can even get the source or I can get service from a particular individual, there are processes that must be followed. First, there must be a quotation that must be sent. Secondly, there must be a pro forma invoice that must be forwarded to me. Then I'll be able to send the purchasing order to confirm that really I'm prepared to take the service as it is. Let us look at the situation again where Marumo was. Marumo was negotiating in Istanbul, where they were stuck at that moment. So it's apparent that they could not even have access to certain services. I can assure you that when they go to Istanbul, I had to engage the embassy in Turkey in order for them to be allowed to get out of the hotel because they could not make any movement out of the airport, even to go to the hotel. But it was because of the intervention of the embassy that they were able to leave the airport in order to get to the hotel, where they still had to find the assistance from this particular individual. So therefore, whatever that he's saying, I would believe whatever that he's saying because he's far. And I hope that he has provided you a proof of the engagement with Marumo, because the engagement telephonically only would not suffice for one to be say he is convinced that Marumo really accepted the price that has been stated by this particular individual.
No, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. Unfortunately for us, he would not need to then provide us with that. For us, yes, the only interrogation that we can have with him, and which we did say with him, was how would he know, or how would we know? Should we just believe him as far as that is concerned? So I'm just going to go back to a quick promo that we would have played out and put together straight after that deals with the amounts.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I mean, to still hear stories such as that of the Marumo Gallants in 2023, you got to admit, though, it's utterly disappointing as well as heartbreaking. Dr. Ali El-Zaga is the owner of the Libyan hotel where the Marumo Gallants officials are. How much is it that the chairman of the club needs to pay you, and then the two officials can then come back home?
See, now it was $37,000 before. This is in the beginning. Now the guys are sitting here 10 days Even I told the German that you are freezing my money now in my hotel. They are eating, they are using my electricity, they are using my internet. Business is business. I didn't want to anyone play with me. I didn't care about money at all. That without me, they will not ever come and play the match.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Yeah, that's part of a little bit of what he said. I mean, he also talks about the fact that they had no kit. What I'll ask from yourself as the mother body, are you aware of whether or not Marumo Gallants had an advance party that went to look at the facilities, to look at the hotels and come back with the plan of how they plan to then travel to the venue?
Rob, as I have already indicated, that is not the first time that Marumo went to the same hotel. So therefore, it would not have been necessary for them to go and send an advance team to the hotel that they understood how it is, where it is built, and how it is situated, where it is situated from the stadium. So they knew the hotel, the hotel that they were going to. The only problem that Marumo had, because of Ramadan, the flights were fully booked to Libya. Then they had to go to Istanbul. When they went to Istanbul, the connecting flight to Benghazi did not allow them, because at the time they did not have the invitation letter from the Libyan Football Federation. That letter was only sent later when the flight had left. So out of that desperation, wanting to go and honor the match, they had to find assistance. Hence I said they did not plan to sleep at the airport. They did not plan to sleep in Istanbul, but because of the challenges, we had to find a solution for them to leave the airport where they were not allowed to live, through engaging the embassy, for them to be able to get to the hotel and sleep over at the hotel. Then this is out of this desperate situation that somebody is taking advantage, because now he finds people that are stranded who want to honor the CAF match, who do not want to leave Istanbul and come back to South Africa without going to Benghazi to honor that CAF match. Then that person is taking advantage of that situation. Because already the engagement, the arrangement had been made with him about the hotel. The hotel is not an issue because the arrangement had been made in advance. The issue is the flight from Istanbul to Benghazi. That's where the challenge is.
Now, because it's not an unforeseen circumstance, the religious celebration, it is not something that comes out of the blue, a volcano, etc. Would that not have been part and parcel of what the advance party would have looked at to say, in the event that we arrive at this particular time, we face a possibility as well as a threat or a challenge of this sort, what will our plan B be? Because even with the disappearance of the kid, I don't know what the circumstances were, but they needed to play having a kit. They wouldn't have, played like we would play and say one wears a kit and one goes bare-chested.
For your information, Rob, recently I went to the under-23 to Congo. I wish you'd know that when we arrived in Congo, the full kit was not with us. We had to make arrangements to engage the airline. Fortunately, they had the cargo that was supposed to fly to Brazzaville from Kigali. They had to make that arrangement. So that is something that we always encounter, such problems that we have. But it's impossible that somebody would want to take that advantage, because you have a missing kit. The kit that costs 100 rand, we're going to charge you 1,000 rand because we understand your desperate situation. This is what we can also discourage from all the business institutions here in South Africa. If somebody would find that kind of a situation, when Al-Ahly or Al-Akhtar come to play here in South Africa, when they encounter problem, we decide just to inflate the prices because they are from Libya, it's either they are from Egypt or they are from Tanzania, I would discourage it. And if that happens, I would even engage the competitions committee to ensure that that is not happening in South Africa.
Yeah.
So that's my hope, that even in Libya, whoever that is in charge for the businesses in Libya will have to take this into consideration and never allow somebody to manipulate any club or any member or any person who comes and gets stranded in Libya because he happens to be coming from outside the country. Then he has to be manipulated.
I think we've heard stories, and anybody that goes and plays on the continent will tell you from the dark days when Orlando Pirates would venture off there. And, the Orlando Pirates chairman would then get a report to say, no, this particular hotel where we've been put up, we do not want to stay here. It is not conducive. There's a lot of loud music. There's a lot of alcohol being drunk. There's, ladies of the night that are lurking around within the corridors of the hotel or the reception that is there. So this is not a conducive hotel for us to stay in, for example. And then he would have to fork out from his own pocket. So he's moving away from what the host is supposed to do for them. He's now looking at what is good for the club. And what is good for the club is to move to an independent hotel, pay for them, make them go and stay there so that they're fresh, they're ready to go and play the game, which is their business of why and what they came there for. And I think also part of their success as Orlando Pirates back in 1995 when they got the star was the fact of the intervention, the advance party, learning the hard way on how to deal with the harsh realities of playing football on the continent. So they're not going to leave here and think they're going, to the Seychelles. They need to know what it is that is going to be difficult. So I'm not blaming them in any way, but I'm also just saying that have they done enough? Are we allowing the situation where I'm also hurt because we should all be celebrating the fact that they top the log table. Yes, they're struggling domestically as far as the league is concerned, but I think they've been doing a fantastic job despite all of this to top the table, and they deserve some of that respectability. But there's also been a sense of naivety about how they've ventured around this particular story.
Rob, I understand the point that you're coming from, where you have team owners trying to also play their part. But now in this case, as I said, the other important factor that we have here in South Africa, as somebody who's dealing with these clubs, apart from sending the advanced team, the clubs that we have that are traveling are also able to share the information. We all know that Mamelodi Sundowns had been traveling a lot. So they have the information, they have the hotels that they can prefer or they can recommend. And my assumption is that the initial arrangement that was made by Marumo Gallants when they went to Libya was based on the information that they received from some of the clubs that they had been there. But it becomes so difficult that after getting a certain information, then I have to be treated badly or I have to continue to spend more in order to send the advanced team because I perceive a situation whereby I'm not going to be treated well. It's time that we should be able to tell to whoever that is in authority. Let us ensure that wherever our national teams and even our clubs should travel anywhere in the continent without having difficulties based on the individual that they'll be playing against.
But would you confirm, though, that Marumo Gallants went and sought that information from the likes of Sundowns? Have they said to you that they went and got information and asked them for such?
The fact that they went to the same hotel, because we don't have any problem about the same hotel.
But did they consult any of the local clubs in South Africa?
Rob, it's about the honesty in this case. That you have the interviews with me, then I have trust that Robert will have the open discussion as we normally have. But only to find that some other day, because I happen to be desperate on that day, then Robert decided to treat me differently. Then we cannot blame that on the ignorance, but we can blame that on the trust that I had in Robert Marawa if he would treat me like that. So the same applies here. It's based on, maybe we can blame the trust that Marumo Gallants had on this guy from the hotel who accommodated them earlier in their previous matches and without even the understanding that this guy is going to change or is going to look at our situation and want to take advantage of that.
Mr. Mafofana, just very quickly, in 10 seconds, how soon can we have the two gentlemen stuck in Libya back in the country?
Tomorrow, Rob, at 10, we're having a meeting with the ambassador from Tunis as well as the owner of the hotel in order to get Marumo Gallants and the owner of the hotel in the same meeting where we'll have to get the understanding and come up with a solution on how we can resolve the matter. As for now, we know that we have got a challenge because we don't have the embassy in Libya. They're only sourcing their services from Tunis. That's the reason why it is difficult to even have somebody to go to the hotel, apart from those that are sent by the ambassador from Tunis to go and look at the conditions and the situation of those guys. But I can assure you that tomorrow, I'm definitely sure that at 10 we'll be able to come up with a solution, because really we feel for these guys, we feel for the families, and they've got kids also that are wondering what is happening with their
Absolutely.
parents. Yes.
SAFA Manager for Football and Events, Mzondile Mafovana, I want to thank you so much indeed for articulating what you have shared with us here as the listeners of MSW, and may solutions be found. Thank you so much indeed. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much to Europe as well, because this is how we are able to share the information. I know the number of people that you are able to reach out will have the understanding now, apart from reading about the incident. Now at least they understand the situation and the challenge. But we ask them, they must also put us in their prayers in ensuring that these guys are able to come back home sooner than
it has been.
Because really, it must be frustrating on their side.
Thank you so much, Baba. Truly appreciated joining us right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.
The Galaxy S23 Ultra's 200 megapixel camera brings you wow-worthy resolution. So much resolution, in fact, that you'll be able to zoom, crop scale, and print your images without losing any detail. Now that's epic. Buy any Galaxy S23 now and add the Galaxy Watch 5 from only 49 Rand per month. And get free Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, valued at 3,999. Galaxy S23 series. Share the epic. T's and C's apply.
You can count on One Life to secure the future of you and your loved ones. All it takes is one call, and you can get up to 10 million Rand life cover with optional dread and disability cover, and you'll be covered from day one. Plus, you get an immediate 50,000 Rand funeral benefit to help your family with expenses upfront. So SMS Life to 39132 or visit onelife.co.za today. One Life, changing lives. T's and C's online. One Life is an authorized insurer and FSP.
I work smart, so I can get ahead. I play smart, and I enjoy the view. I party smart, and I love life. And I rest smart, so I can do it all again tomorrow. Wherever I go in my Suzuki Celerio, I move smart.
You can too. Contact your nearest Suzuki dealer to test drive the all-new Celerio and move smart.
Travel the world in multi-millionaire style with Lotto Star's major lotteries. Jet set to the UK with our UK Lottery Plus, to Australia with the Oz Monday Lotto, to Italy with a Super Enalotto, or from Cape to Cairo with our Africa Millions draw. You could win payouts of over 800 million Rand. Bet now on lottostar.co.za, your world of live games.
Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Have more to share this Easter with savings from your one-hop shop. Like the Bennett Reed Dark Grey 900mm 5-burner gas electric stove at 9,999. Eiger Vista 1.7-litre glass kettle at 499. Save 100. Deals valid from 2 to 10 April. T's and C's apply. Macro. Save money, live better.
Join the ultimate family entertainment experience in a celebration of 100 years of Disney. With big screen highlights from your favorite films, featuring vocal performances live in concert with the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra. Easter weekend, 7 to 9 April at Gallagher Convention Center. Book now on ticketmaster.co.za. Tickets from 320 Rand. Disney 100, the concert. Sponsored by First National Bank, Oppo, and Vodacom.
Is this 9, 4,
7.
Marawa Sports Worldwide. Changing and re-engineering sports on the continent and the world. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
but the apple didn't fall too far from the tree now. Passionate beast on the touchline if you've seen him coaching. She too wants to become a coach right now. That's the beautiful story of Caitlin Hunt.
Yeah, so obviously the whole goal of it was, I've coached before, but I wanted to get the badges. I wanted to, go the SAFA way and do the course. But, we went on there and it's so nice to see so many coaches wanting to further themselves in the coaching, the coaching world. And that's exactly what I wanted to do myself. My aspiration was I want to coach. I want to educate myself. I want to further my knowledge of coaching,
Do you find that it adds being the daughter of the highly successful South African coach called Kevin Hunt?
I look up to him a lot in what he's done, but yeah, I'm trying to write my own journey here.
#MSW. #MSW.
And Rob, I don't agree with the gentleman in saying that payment arrangements when teams play continental tournament is a problem, because Maruma Gallant is not the first team to qualify for CAF. And surely there needs to be somebody within SAFA to assist teams with the logistical arrangements or tips. And for me, one has to give credit to teams like Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, and Mamelodi Sundowns, because you remember, Rob, when Sundowns was playing Cotton Sports, they sent 2 delegates to Cameroon 2 months prior to the game so that they can help with the logistical arrangements and also get some intel about the team that we're going to play. And you would have seen how the results came out because they gave Cotton Sports hiding in their own country. For me, Rob, that says a lot about Sundowns and their professionalism. And I think Maruma Gallant is not trading anywhere closer to that in terms of professionalism. Thank you so much. It's Tebogoye.
Well, obviously receiving a lot of reaction as far as that is concerned. Muzi sent us a message as well saying that, the SAFA official says that he assumes that local clubs share travel information. Does that mean that SAFA had not investigated from when this particular story broke? So, great angle. Footingala says, since Maruma Gallants have qualified for the next stage, will the chairman be trusted with the squad that will travel for the away games? Again, great observations all round. So we'll take, some of the reaction as it is incoming. But it's also, for us, they've been so busy. Your name was mentioned in our conversation a short while ago. The PSL. I mean, they could start sharpening their swords to put that name on the trophy. I suppose it's time as well for the curated Klorkop to start making space in that trophy cabinet. Maybe they've started building another one. Well, it's certainly been confirmed beyond any shadow of doubt that for the record-extending 6th consecutive season, the League Championship trophy will once again be engraved with Mamelodi Sundowns' name. The Premiership trophy will continue to take residency at the club's headquarters, meaning that the Brazilians are the undisputed kings of domestic football. And when they hosted Cape Town City at Loftus last night, it was the unofficial coronation of a superbly slick and worthy champion, and a champion team confirmed with 6 matches to spare. Unbelievable. In fact, bordering on ridiculous. What a team. Let's celebrate with the championship winning coach. I know that the team will soon come into the studio with the trophy, but I think it's also symbolic of us as MSW to reach out to Coach Rulani Mkwena for the outstanding job that his technical team, the players, the many fans, you would have watched them last night celebrate in the manner that they did way after the game. They didn't get the 3 points, but did it matter? I don't know. Rulani Mkwena is on the line. Good evening, sir. Welcome, and firstly, congratulations.
Thank you, Big Rob. Good evening to your listeners. Good evening to you, and always a pleasure to share a little bit of your space. Thank you for having me.
I know you never like to attribute to self, even when winning Coach of the Month or Coach of the Season. You do what is right as a collective. But we will always historically look at this championship win with the margins that are mentioned as you were on hold and attributed to a Rulani Mkwena and his technical team. Is this a culmination for you of a lifelong dream?
No, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, including incredible aspirations and investments from the Motsepe family, all the way from when Dr. Patrice Motsepe bought the club and the goals and the ambitions that he had for this football club. It's a combination of a lot of expertise, technical experience and brilliance of many coaches and who have come in to build the club to get to the level that it is at the moment. It's a combination of the contributions and the skills of a lot of very, very good players that have helped the club to win many, many championships, many trophies, and build the brand and the level of the football club to where it is today. And also the efforts, the hours of the management team, everyone associated with the club, from the ground staff to the kitchen lady to the receptionist, Tina, to everybody involved at the football club. It's over the years. They say Rome wasn't built in a day. So what you see at Mamelodi Sundowns for sure, I think, reflects the hard work and the contributions of many, many, many people who have been privileged to work for this fantastic football club.
As historians, we always then go into the cupboards and we dust off a lot of books and we say, who was there? You go back to a Chris Ngobo back in 1972, or you can go to a Kaizer Mtawung. Then with Elkem Pro Kumalo, Eddie Lewis of Kaizer Chiefs in 1974. You look at Alex Forbes for Orlando Pirates in 76. You look at a Joe Frickleton. Then with Baji Byrne at Lusitano. You go to Mario Duane, at Kaizer Chiefs in 79. Butch Webster. You talk of Clive Barker at Bushbucks in 1985. You talk about Roy Matthews at Jomo Cosmos in 87. Stan Skrima Shabalala, who would have been there, Mario Twani with Mamelodi Sundowns. Multiple times the name Jeff Butler springs up with Kaizer Chiefs. Gordon Egerson, Ted Dumitru, Paul Dollizer, Roy Barreto, Miguel Gamondi, Gordon Egerson, Ruud Krol, Gavin Hunt, multiple times, Stuart Baxter. You get the idea. But for the very first time, not in a co-coaching scenario, it is Rolani Mkwena who joins these illustrious names that I talk about right now, and it becomes engraved in that little bit of history. How does Rolani feel?
Well, I don't even know if I've wrapped my emotions around the feeling. Because it's very difficult, when you're at a football club like Sundowns, it's always about the next game. And now we've wrapped up Cape Town City. We start preparing for Morocco Swallows, which is going to be a very difficult game for us. And I think then we will get the feeling properly at the end of the season, particularly because we have such high ambitions, and maybe, and as I said in a couple of interviews prior, I said we are probably victims of our own success. Maybe that is why not a lot is being said about this group and what they've achieved, because to win a league title in any domestic competition, for an example, is an incredible feat, and to do it the way we've done it, with the incredible amount of consistency in our performances. We played some incredible football. We scored some very, very good goals. We've done some very, very good things on the pitch with our schemes, from build up to a high press to the flexibility that we've shown in our formations and organizational forms. And really, if I were to quickly get into it, maybe there's a sense of appreciating the opportunity to lead the football club and to be the head coach of Mamelodi Sundowns, but also a deep sense of gratitude to the players for all their efforts and for their commitment and their hard work, and for allowing me to lead them, because it's not always easy, we drive, we demand, and we set high expectations, but we are fortunate enough to work with such a talented group, and a group that is also very driven and one that works even harder and has enormous capacity, and you can see the potential is even greater. So there's a sense of appreciating the opportunity from the Motsepe family and the support that we get given. Support by the club, by the supporters, and also just a deep sense of gratitude, and very, very grateful to the Almighty for all the blessings and the mercy and the favor, but also grateful to the technical team, the management, and of course the football players.
Yeah, I mean, I know we'll have more time when eventually you are able to come through with the team, and it's a celebration of a collective success. But the one thing that we can't avoid is the magnitude is about, the history that is being rewritten. You talk about it being written, but at times you got to rewrite the history. People talk about the 6 seasons in a row. Record number of league titles. If you calculate and you get it right, Sundowns now making it 16, which is 4 more than Chiefs, who've always kind of set the records in South African football. So when you start to ascend those heights, Rulani Mkwena, and you talk about Sundowns, you talk about their achievements, there might not be time for you to digest all of this because you're traveling, you're doing CAF Champions League, you're on an aeroplane, you're coming back maybe a day or 2 days later. The turnaround is usually so sharp, you don't even have time to absorb a lot of this that we can sit back and talk and remind you about. But just that, 6 in a row, 16 for now, what does that say?
It says we're extremely privileged. We're extremely privileged, and we should count our blessings. Not everybody gets this type of opportunity. Not everybody is blessed to be part of this football club and to be part of a moment like this where we are part of history. And so we know that. That's why we work very, very hard. We work extremely hard for this football club. We try to invest as much of the hours and everything that is humanly possible to invest. So we understand the blessing that comes with it, and of course, as we always say, blessings and burdens are cousins, and the burden of the blessing is to ensure that you show through actions and through commitment and through the work that you put in, you show how grateful you are, and we will continue always to try to do that and try to appease our fans and the Motsepe family, thanking them with actions, thanking them for this opportunity and thanking them for this opportunity to be part of this football club.
And I know the human nature of the game. How would you summarize, though, as briefly as you can, because we are running out of time, Rulani, just the nature of yesterday and how it ended?
No, I like the performance. It gave me a good feeling. I liked it even more after I watched it. Of course, there's a lot of things to improve, and we want, and I would have said that even if we had won. But I was so proud of the players for the efforts, and the performance yesterday was very, very good. And we're unfortunate. We're unfortunate not to win. We created a lot of very, very good opportunities. One of the highest number of box entry games that we showed this season. But on another day, Cassius makes better decisions. Peter makes better decisions and executions in the final third, and Shishi now. So, if we play that game 9 times again, maybe we win 8 out of the 9. And so it's a performance that makes me incredibly happy.
Yeah, as a throw, I just picked up on Twitter, Khumutsondu says, you've added Rulani among some of the great football names. No surprises. He fits the profile. So that's from the list that I was reminding you of. And one thing we could do, we could certainly send you that list, Mr. Mkwena. Maybe we could frame it, sir. All we wanted to do was just officially, as MSW, congratulate you, knowing as well to the many Sundowns fans that you will make the journey through to studio, make it worthwhile, interact with the thousands and thousands that have made your journey so successful. So well done, congrats, take it in, and until we see you next.
Thank you, Big Rob. Thank you so much, and appreciate always the support. You're an incredible human being, and we are just honored and really privileged to still have you as one of our many, many, many inspirations. Thanks, Big Rob.
Thank you very much for the kind words. The Sundowns coach, championship winning coach, Rulani Mkwena, right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide. What a moment, what a time for him as a young coach to achieve what he's achieved. Let's achieve more tomorrow.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW.